It's Friday and I'm sure you're looking forward to what lies ahead. So let me ruin it for you by saying that a storm is coming. The world economy is in a precarious position. The IMF has sounded an alarm. Gita Gopinath says a second Cold War is coming and it will cost us trillions of dollars. Gopinath is the deputy managing director of IMF. She says our world is more divided than ever before and this could reverse economic progress. A second Cold War could slash global GDP by 7%, which would mean a loss of $7 trillion and it would be hard to avoid. The global economy faces three major risks: a trade war, China's economic decline, and the increasing military conflicts. Let's start with the trade war. It's a clash between the superpowers, the United States and China. The world's leading economies, together they account for 43% of the global GDP. But since 2018, they've been at odds. That's when US President Donald Trump slapped tariffs on China. Beijing responded in kind, and it went downhill from there. When Biden took charge of the US, he tried to fix it by reversing Trump's tariffs, but it has not happened yet. He met the Chinese leader last month, that's Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping said he wants stability. But his actions convey the opposite. China is targeting American businesses, raiding their offices and harassing their employees. So normalization does not look like an immediate possibility. And the economic impact is evident. The World Trade Organization gave an assessment. It says global GDP has lost 0.1% due to it. Economists say this figure does not tell the full story. The trade war will have wider ramifications. It is hurting globalization, breaking the global economy, forcing countries to choose camps and realign trade policies. So the trend is not encouraging, and China's decline could accelerate it. And that's the second risk. China is the world's second largest economy, valued at $18 trillion. That's 18% of the global GDP. But of late, China has been stumbling. Growth is sluggish, youth unemployment is at a record high, and loan defaults are surging. By November end, China had blacklisted more than 8 million people. These are people who defaulted on loans, both household and business debt. So China has blacklisted these citizens, 8 million. And the repercussions are serious. China has a law for this. If you're a defaulter, a declared defaulter, you cannot purchase plane tickets. You cannot even make mobile payments. And this is hurting both people and companies. For instance, manufacturers are struggling. Their profits are down by 9% this year. We're talking about some 13,000 companies. Their profits are down. And these companies are not just from China. They're from the US, Europe, Japan, and other leading economies. All of them depend on the Chinese economy. Let me explain how. China's consumer demand has fallen. People are spending less. So factories are churning out fewer goods and they're reporting a dip in profits. Then we come to the big investors. They're losing money in the Chinese market, so they're pulling it out of China. By August, they'd withdrawn about $10 billion. China's decline is bleeding major economies like Japan. In July, Japan reported a drop in exports. That's because demand from China had weakened. Businesses in Japan got fewer orders. Same with South Korea and Thailand. They've downgraded their economic forecast because both these countries depend on China for business. So China's problem is a global problem. The third risk is the surge in military conflicts. In the past 2 years, we've seen two major wars, Russia versus Ukraine and Israel versus Hamas. Both have jolted the global economy. The Russia-Ukraine war has led to losses of over $2 trillion. And the Israel-Hamas war could cost the world another $1 trillion. That's because it threatens to spread and turn into a wider regional conflict. And remember, these wars are still on, so the costs could rise. So to sum it up, there are three risks: the trade war, China's decline, and the endless military conflicts. They represent uncertainty for the global economy, and uncertainty is anathema to businesses. Unfortunately, there is no immediate solution in sight.